Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to beautiful Mission Hills Country Club. We're in the men's locker room today, so we have a no naked people sign in the front here.
Do not cross here.
Do not cross this line. It's great to be with you. What a pleasure coming in here after the amazing PGA Championship, which is one of my favorite events every year. I am the hat. David Mosso is the pro.
I do, Coach.
And we have our dear brother Jonas with us, who is the, what's your exact title?
Director of Agronomy.
Director of Agronomy.
Fancy.
From for these three beautiful golf courses and as well as all kinds of tennis courts and one of the most famous croquet, what do they call it?
Croquet lawn.
A croquet lawn.
Yeah.
One of the most famous croquet lawns in the world is right here at Mission Hills. And it was, the whole world was focused on our game this past weekend with the PGA Championship. And I've said this many times, Jonas, and I know you agree. Certainly you agree, David, that the golfers that we see on TV, that's a TV show.
Right.
Okay. That's not, it's golf, but it's not golf for us. Okay, really. Golf for us is the club profession.
Right.
And the agronomist. At every course, whether it's a private club high end or a daily fee low end, you got to have both of those in order for the game to grow.
Absolutely.
And so and we had, I guess they had one a PGA club pro make the cut. And it's always good to see that.
Yeah, I think his last name was Kern. If I remember correctly. Yeah, it's fantastic. I saw Michael Block didn't make the cut last time.
Yeah.
Missed
What a
it.
real-
Yeah, he missed it by
I know.
missed it by
It's a
one.
real steals.
I
was
know.
close.
Missed it by one
Yeah,
shot.
he had a couple tough holes down the stretch early Friday and posted 5, and I think that was 4 was the cut.
Yeah.
So he was sitting there all day just hoping and praying, but it wasn't going to happen. So, but good for
it's
the other
What
guy.
I find interesting is, do they still do this? Because when I started and covered golf in the Coachella Valley, the professionals in the desert chapter would have a tournament, and the winner of that tournament would get an exemption into that show.
That's a good question. Well, you've got guys that earn points. Yeah, they play chapter events.
Yeah.
Some gallery events here, section. You'll gather up points, and then those point leaders could get one. Last year, I forget who it was. I think it was Michael Block, gave an exemption to play the farmers.
Yep. I believe. Yeah, I believe you're correct on
They do the
that.
qualifications, that kind of thing, like he did to qualify for the PGA Championship or US Open. That's different.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely, they can get exemptions for playing.
So, and I was talking to one, I won't name him, but it's a great loaf player, and it's a wonderful guy. And he was with the desert section of chapter. It's a Southern California
Mr. Check.
section, Southern California section. Correct, gotcha. And in those days, the hope was on Indian Wells and Bermuda Dunes and Tamarisk. And so, I mean, he would go out there with the boys, on any given day from the tips and shoot 64, 65, And, when the hope would come, he would shoot 78, 79, 80
More like a ball game.
Yeah.
And I asked him, what is the difference? It's the same course. He goes, when the light goes on, Coach, it's a whole different game. And you could see some of that working on Sunday at the PGA, couldn't you?
Oh yeah. You get to the last day, and whether you're a club professional that makes the cut or you're a tour pro, and you think, what if? And there's all these opportunities and all these expectations, and then you have to go out and actually perform.
Yes.
And that sometimes is tougher than we are ever going to know, for sure.
Well, as we all know, it's a different game.
It's completely.
If you got $1.
Exactly.
And of course, these guys don't have money on
Right.
But that $3 million purse that's sitting out there, man, that is, and as you were just talking to us before we started, Mr. Rye, who was a first-time major champion and has this long history of going from European Sub Tour to the DP Tour, trying to get on the PGA Tour, sneaking on there, and a win in a small tournament. His life is completely changing.
Oh, yeah. Talk about laid back, a little not laid back, but a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
You know, I said quite a few guys here that struggle just trying to keep your car.
Yeah.
You know, because day in and day out. Yes, he's living real good right now.
And I was fascinated by the reaction of the other players. They were, to a man, so happy for this guy. So he must have made an impact in that locker room.
I've heard some podcasts and people commenting, and they say that this guy would be one of the last guys out on the range hitting balls, one of the first guys in the gym working out, totally putting in all the time and effort to become, successful. And it just goes to show you do the hard work, and sometimes you get paid off. So good for him.
Well, this was quite an event, the PGA, of course, at Agronomy, which is an unbelievable jewel in the Philadelphia section, just a few miles away from the city of Brotherly Glove, with Donald Ross greens, which were the stars of the weekend. The green complexes, as you guys say,
complexes
was the star. It gives me great joy as the hack to see legendary PGA pros miss a 6-foot putt. I'm sorry, I know I shouldn't be happy about that, but I actually am. I mean, it gives me a sense of it can happen to anybody, and they would, they again like. You'd see that from the conversation mentally going on, and the stare down of their poor caddy over there. Oh, that wasn't good. You say it went there, so they were tense. And that's a major championship. That's how it should be, right?
Sure, absolutely.
And as a director of agronomy, we've dealt with it here with the tournaments and all. Do you go out with a tour agronomist? Do they kind of set, okay, we'll put the pins here, they're on steps? How does that kind of work?
Yeah, typically when you're hosting an event, at least the ones that I've hosted and people that I've talked to, it's a year-round kind of a plan get up, right? They're checking in, they have expectations, so height of cut for the rough, speeds of the greens, firmness of the greens, sand traps. They're looking at all that stuff, and as you get closer and closer, you're dialing everything in. But once it comes to the tournament itself, there's usually a committee or a agronomist or somebody, rules official that's in charge. For us with the Champions Tour, it was the rules officials and the agronomy team.
And they set the pins.
They set the pins. They determine where everything goes. The course is essentially theirs for the week.
Yeah.
So is there a certain amount of feet that they have?
We always see it. Yeah, we always see it.
It's on a meter break.
It's got to be somewhat fair. I think they look for nothing greater than a 2% slope in a certain distance. Maybe it's 6 feet. And if it's a little bit too much of a slope, they won't put the pin there. But some of these greens that are, old school greens and slope, because back in the day, they weren't necessarily built to be 12 plus on the stimp meter.
They weren't getting triple roll by
and triple roll. So all of that plays into effect, which is great for TV and great for, the game that is today. But it's a little different than the setup that it was originally intended. But there's always somebody that's directing you what to do and where to go. And then it's up to the agronomist, the superintendent team to make all those things happen and pull everything together.
You got to roll the rock.
Yeah, for sure.
And so we saw J.J. Spawn sink a 45-footer with USO.
Bad.
And that was at Oakland.
Correct.
Another
legendary. Yeah.
And then we have Rye. I mean, what was that, like a 75-foot?
It was over 70 feet, and the camera angle from behind where it showed the topography and the ball moving and all this stuff, I mean, yeah. You just look at it from one angle and you're like, oh, that's just a long putt. But then you look at it from the level and your perspective, you're like, how did he do that? That's impossible.
Well, we have 4 every year,
Yep.
4 majors, Augusta, of course, and just the past couple of years, the PGA has moved into May, where it used to be the final in August. And they start getting murdered, going to Oklahoma and places like that in August.
Yeah.
The guys were falling off. And then, of course, the Open Championship over there, and our U.S. Open have remained being played.
Yeah.
But that was a U.S. Open for a PGA.
It was very close, very much
And what
set
you
up.
see, tell me if I'm wrong. What you see is whatever the low score is on the first day, more often than not, the winning score is going to hoover right around that number. Because the players get a little tighter.
Yeah.
Even after they make the cut,
Yeah.
unless Tiger Woods is winning.
Right.
That's a whole different story. But for him to win by 3 was that was quite something.
I wasn't expecting that.
No.
And what's his name? 2-time winner of the event. Shot 500. Justin Thomas.
Yes.
2.5 hours before the leaders teed off.
Yeah.
And
He finished second, I think, or third.
I think he ended up. I think Rom and those guys might have caught him, but for 2.5 hours, his score was there. He was just watching, and then guys are passing him and going backwards.
I saw a post from him that says, "I learned not to drink 2, 3, 4, 5 beers
just in case
while I was waiting."
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No, it was a great tournament, great event, great showcase for everybody, and timing wise, I mean, conditions, weather, everything was just perfect. So,
well, it's the Pro and the Hack, our wonderful podcast. Rich Gilgallen, the coach, known affectionately as the Hack. David Mulso is our golf pro, and one of the great golf teachers here in the Coachella Valley, which is not faint praise because this is the place where people come to learn this game. And our dear brother Jonas, who is the boss after sauce out there, man. Yeah. And we are looking, this gives us an opportunity with this picture.
yeah, you can look
Yeah,
outside.
you little
See
to
some stuff.
Jonas's work out here,
This
absolutely.
time, This time of year, it's a little dicey and challenging at times, but we
It's
push
got to get a
through.
little nerve-wracking now.
Oh, yeah.
Watch those temperatures.
Transition and stuff that wants to grow or not grow, and just keeps us on our toes. But we are pressing on.
And
doing
if you don't
wonderful
know
things.
about Mission Hills, we have 3 spectacular golf courses here. We have Pete Dye, which we're kind of looking to see over there. The Arnold Palmer course, which is a tremendous golf course in its own right. And I love when people say, well, that's the easiest of the 3. I go, really? Yeah. Can you get a drive 350 on number 1 and number 2 and number 4 and number 5? I mean, there's no let up on the opening at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the amazing Dinosaur course.
And you take, it's more than just 3 courses for you. You've got tennis courts. You've got all.
Well, he's like the general, and he has 3 kernels.
I have 3 kernels, and I have a 4th.
One kernel for each course.
One for each course, and one actually in charge of like the tennis grounds, which include a croquet court that's just over an acre and a half in size, has 4 lawns where they play there, and then we have 10
pickleball courts.
We have 10 grass tennis courts.
Like Wimbledon.
Yeah. And they get used quite a bit. There's a lot of USTA events that come here, high-level ones. They really enjoy coming out here because of the quality of the courts that they play and the facility they're at. It's world class. And like you said earlier about the croquet, I mean, not a lot of people know a lot about croquet and everything, but
I can honestly say I don't know a damn thing about it.
You're supposed to wear white.
Yeah, you have to wear white, but this place has a lot of history in the croquet. So if you're a person that follows that, you know Mission Hills. It's out there. They've done articles. People have played here. They've had championships. They come from all over the world, just like golf. So it's pretty intense. So 3 golf courses, and then we call it like a small fourth one, just because of the quality of turf and the size and everything that we have to maintain. So it's like 3.5 courses if you add it all up.
We've got, well, what, 700 acres?
Oh yeah. When you add everything up, and we have a little bit over 70 employees under my domain, and
well, we see them every year in their parade.
we do the parade of change.
It's the greatest parade.
That's a nice thing that we do, and we didn't do it this year, but we'll come back and do it like every other year typically. And
I would say,
but it's nice because it shows off for a facility this size. It shows off the amount of employees, the different types of equipment that we have, and people, they might see like a rough mower, greens mower, and passing, but when you see like 70 guys driving 70 different pieces of equipment, parading through,
it's amazing,
with some wonderful music,
like
lifting up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
their inventory down there is unreal.
It's unbelievable.
I had every time I go down there, really, it's like amazing.
And so just to touch on because you set up a golf course for a major championship.
Sure, yeah.
Many times, and were there occasional, without mentioning any names, were there occasional players that wanted to have a conversation with you in the afternoon about the rough on the 15? Or the pin position on number 8 or whatever?
Yeah, they'll say some of those comments, and sometimes it's just in joking, but sometimes it's something maybe that really touches them. But you're just trying to set up the golf course to the best condition you can do it, and everybody has to play the same golf course. Everybody's got to putt out. Everybody has
one thing that drives me crazy. Guys playing. It was 30 some. I think it was 30. What was the first? 30 plus million for the purse. 30 plus million purse. And you're gonna cry.
Yeah.
Because the pit at number 3 was over here. I couldn't get there. Yeah. I mean, zip it. Okay. Go out there and make your money.
Yeah.
I think they used to say that Nicholas would walk into a locker room at a major. He would just walk in while they were all putting their shoes on. But he has these unbelievable steely blue eyes, and he would just stare at him.
Yeah.
Just stare at him.
Yeah.
I grew up like,
Yeah.
It was a tough course out there. Now the press kept trying to raise some tension, by not really complaining, but saying, well, geez, I mean, the leaderboard is so much up. Nobody said nothing.
Yeah, wow, how could
the
that
players
happen?
were like, this is, we got 9 guys tied for the lead. That's because the course is screwed up. No, it's not because the course is screwed up. It's because guys, somebody needs to make a couple more putts. Better shot. Better shots. It's a very hard game at that level. Because it's a hard game at my level. I can tell you that right now.
There's times when you watch the event, even when you're watching the best of the best hit shots, and you're expecting them to hit this shot or that shot, and then they hit something that's decent but not quite to that expectation. And everybody's like, oh, wow. But in reality, it's a great shot. It just goes to show you how tough conditions are.
One guy had a little chip shot.
Yeah.
And cold shanked it. I said, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck up to the coaches. They're front. And he's like, it's when a pro hits a shank, the next shot is the hardest shot he's going to hit all day.
Hey, that doesn't even have to be a pro. It could be just anybody. If you hit a shank, the next one you hit is the hardest shot you're going to ever hit.
The game of golf that we love and have loved our whole lives is a mystery inside a riddle wrapped in an enigma. I mean, it really is, because you can go out one day and you're just there. You could feel it. That's particularly after you have a day also lesson. Next thing you
tidy up a few things.
And you're vomiting everywhere. And then another day, like the decline of Bruce Kemke I mean,
Brooks,
yeah. I was just watching Full Swing.
Okay.
Do you love that?
That's a good one. Yeah.
Isn't that a good
Nice.
one?
Yeah.
And you watch the guy just complain all day long. I suck. I'm terrible. He won 4 majors in 2 years.
Yeah.
I can't swing. I'll never win again. I'm so distressed. His poor wife is sitting there going, uh-oh. And you can tell she's not happy if he's not happy.
True.
And he's like, I suck. I'm the worst golfer on the planet. And it's just, oh, poor guy. I mean, flush that head out. Get a psychologist. Do something. You can't go through life in any business. Always saying, I'm not good. I'm not good. He said it 1,000,000 times. I wanted the dope slap on my head. It's ridiculous.
Going out there thinking you're going to win every time. Well, I imagine, I don't know. I've experienced tour play before. You can only imagine the pressure. All of a sudden, here comes now.
Well, look, we played
Yeah.
we played match play out here. In Mission Hills, we have a match play tournament. And I'll tell you what, it gets your attention. I had a guy get out of the car. I had to help him out of 2 bunkers, about 80 something. And he got out of the car. He told us back. He said, well, coach, I don't have much for you today. Yeah, 6 and 5. Didn't have much. Thank God he didn't have much.
Yeah. At least, you got to see like hole 13 or something.
Yeah, I got to 13, and I won a few. But lost a lot more than I won. But there's something about that whole match play that really it gets you up. It gets you going because you're looking right at the person you got.
Yeah.
It's the pro and the hack. David also the pro, the coach, the hack.
So, Jonas, quick question. I come across guys every now and then what it takes to get into the business, kind of change your own.
Yeah.
How did you get started, and what does it really take for somebody to try to get into this business?
Well, the way I got started was I was just working at the local club down the street from where I grew up in St. Clair Shores, Michigan, and just doing the regular summer job, doing things and going to college and working, whatever. And then one year, my superintendent at the time informed me that, hey, if you really enjoy doing this stuff, there's schools and programs that you can go to. And just so happens that Michigan State University not only is one of the best in this business, just happened to be about an hour and a half away from where I grew up. So that's the spot. So I was going to college for business degree. I was at Albion College and everything was great. And then I decided to change my heart. I wanted to go and become a superintendent. So I told mom and dad this is what I was going to do. Their jaws hit the floor because 4 years of and that's how it was, right? But I knew, and then from everybody I talked to, go to the program, learn, get everything, and then one of the things they told me at Michigan State was that degree is great. He goes, the further you're away from Michigan State, the more valuable that piece of paper is. So I figured, well, I'm going to go somewhere where there's good golf, where it's warm, and had some family out in Southern California, and eventually made my way out here. But that's the way you can do it. And then nowadays we have people on our staff. I mean, over the years, I've probably helped put probably 5 or 6 people through the program. We have a couple that are here on Mission Hills that have worked for me and went to local colleges or colleges online. And they're doing great. And we're actually having a few of our staff members currently go through the programs so that they can turn into an assistant superintendent or superintendent. It's a great
one hand lifts up another.
Yeah, it's a great profession. It's a great thing. If you enjoy working outside and you enjoy being around people and you love the game of golf, how can you pass it up? It's special. So
well, look, it should be said that these guys are mowing fairways in Fitchyard.
Yeah, for the first few hours, certain times of the day, and everything.
They're up and going at it. You got 3 courses like this. You got to get out there and get it done.
Yeah.
They do an amazing job. It's experiencing right now. It's really all 3 courses are so amazing.
So that's a little bit about getting into it. And then I think, like anything or any profession, you have to have some sort of passion for your line of work, right? And our business and probably farming too, it's called like the green thumb. Everybody says you gotta have that green thumb. Okay, because at 2:00 when everybody goes home and you punch out, the grass is still growing. The trees are still going. The trees still need to be. There's things that need to be done.
Do they have a course like, okay, this is bent grass, this is Bermuda, this is tiptorp Bermuda, this is Kikuyu.
We had turfgrass identification and all that stuff, and you had to go through and learn all the different growth things for the grasses, and learn all the different weeds, and go through all that. Learn about soils, chemistry, insects is a big thing. How to treat them. Course design was a good portion of the schooling, because you want to get a little bit of history to understand. And I'm kind of a history guy, and everywhere I go play, and I want to know who built it and what courses I like or prefer. And it's
well, there's also getting into a reconstruction a little bit to help.
There's a lot of things that, just like anything, you got to come back and maybe fix a few things or make some minor adjustments. So if you have that as part of a background or something that you really enjoy doing, that can help you out down the road. So.
And if you're the troublemaker in class, they make you the pin center. Is there ever a time when you could be honest? Just between you guys, where you say to yourself, "It's big right here today. Let's see,
show your teeth a little bit."
No, I mean, honestly, I played golf quite a bit as a junior. I didn't have to play on the golf team in high school, but I played some amateur events, and I was a pretty good player. And I ended up going and playing a little bit in Division III at college. So when I was setting up the golf course, which is what I did pretty much every day, I thought that 4, 5, 6 hours from now, where do I want this pin? Like, where was it the other day? I'll put it here. And I would literally set up a course knowing that I was going to play that day, not to favor my shots per se, but just I want a tough pin here and a tough pin here.
We're talking 6 easy ones, 6 medium ones, and 6.
Typically, you want to, I mean, for your day-to-day stuff, you don't want people out there spending 7 hours trying to hack it around and whatever, right? So it's one of those things where business-wise, you want to try to get people in and out and play and have a good time, and then hopefully they come back, right? But the main thing is I did it kind of like where I was going to play and my buddies, and if they were a little bit tucked back to the left for the little draw that I played, then I don't know what to tell you, but it was definitely something that I look forward to doing every day.
Who was the page? That's your job. That's the chief.
And realistically, growing up, I never had pin location sheets or someone tell me where to put them. We would just put them, rotate them, like you said, 6 easy, 6 hard, 6 up front, 6 left, 6 right, 6 middle. Just try to make it fair, right? And that's what we essentially do nowadays with our staff. There are some pin locator, or easy locators, and different things that you can do. And it's a lot of work. Some clubs have it, and they'll swear by it.
Is that like a computer program?
Yeah, it's like a GPS, and it tells you what to do and where to put it, right? But even those, you put a pin out there, and it could be questioned by somebody because of the slope or whatever, because you're not physically out there doing it. So the best thing I think is you just get a couple people that are good at it, that are like green thumbs like me, that enjoyed it, and they're going to put it where it should be and make it playable, right? So,
well, this is always a pleasure to talk to Jonas, because Jonas Conlan, who is our head horticulturist.
Out of anything that's growing alive at Mission Hills.
That's right. You want to talk about a green thumb. Yeah. And also, for this particular club, the flowering areas are so beautiful.
Yeah.
That's part of
it's part of our culture and our name here, and part of my responsibility. And, changing up the different colors, whether it's annual colors and stuff, mixing in some perennial plants to go in there. And then a lot of places now, because we're in the desert, are switching to more desert type areas. So we're doing things like that. But you still want to have some of those colors and some of those different textures.
Is there anything more beautiful than a blooming cactus?
Oh, we have a few out here on the back of the champions. And when they bloom like that and they get this bright red or yellow flower, and it's this, cactus type plant.
Now, what about the animal life, like the coyotes?
There's plenty. I saw a couple raccoons out here the other day, out on the Pete Dye.
That's horticulturist night.
Oh yeah, those things are aggressive. They're probably one of the most aggressive little. Yeah, you don't want to get in a battle with the raccoon. Goats are pretty good. They'll kind of come and go. But we have a bobcat out here on the Pete Dye course that comes every now and then.
When you see coyotes run,
then you know something.
You know there's something up. And I noticed that on the course one day. And I said,
something's coming.
Those coyotes are running by 5.
Yeah.
You never see 5 together. I go, maybe I should be running too. And there was the bobcat, and they'll tear you up.
But ultimately, you want to have a nice, balanced environment for birds and for, because there's a lot of beneficial birds and plants and animals and insects and all kinds of stuff, as much as there are the ones that are pains in the butt, right? So,
with
you got to balance.
The pelican crew flies over your head.
They're hungry.
You're like,
they go clean out a few fish, but they know where to come and they show up, but they don't stick around for all but a few days and then they're gone. But yeah.
What a great job you got, Joe.
It's an unbelievable. To be able to do this for most of more than half my life, or whatever, and the places that I've worked at, especially here, it's special. It's a great. You could have a bad day and you go outside and you look around and things are good, right? And if you have trouble areas and trouble problems or projects and everything, it is what it is. You just keep working at it.
How many times have you had to put your rain gear?
You know what? Honestly, I've been here since 1998, and I think that maybe on one or two hands, maybe total with like working in rain stuff. And typically it's 0 to none because that's when people go to the movies or go run other errands or something.
They've got talking about this El Nino thing, which may shoot us a little more precept.
Yeah.
What does a guy do when you all of a sudden you're getting an inch or two in the desert? Inch or two, that's flood.
That is flood, yeah. So you're typically on the golf course and stuff, you're going to be fine. But your low areas, your streets, your runoffs, that's going to cause some problems.
You're not telling me I live in DHS.
So you've seen it.
I'm writing a song titled Gene Autry's been closed since I can't remember when.
Exactly.
Life is hell. Outside of
it screws up everybody, but in time they're building certain bridges and routes and different things.
Since we're talking about this, I'm always curious about because of the closeness to Mount St. Jacinto, to Palm Springs, and us. That's primarily where our water table comes from, dripping down from that mountain.
We'll get
how far down is the water?
So we get some runoff from rain and everything that comes to this area, but believe it or not, we get most of our water comes from the Colorado River.
To this day.
It comes and then So what happens is it comes all the way down through the southwest. It goes by Vegas and Lake Mead, Lake Havasu. There's the Parker Dam. There's another dam on the river, and then it continues down all the way to Yuma. And then when it gets to Yuma, that's where there's the All-American Canal and the Coachella Canal. All-American Canal heads to San Diego. Coachella Canal comes back up this way.
Is that right?
Yeah. It comes up through the east side of Salton Sea, through the hillsides, runs through Indio, weaves its way through Indio, and then goes through PGA West, and then it goes and dumps into the Lake Kauai.
No kidding.
Yeah. So we
I put a couple of fucking balls in that American Canal.
And then offshoots of that are where they flood the upper and lower aquifer areas in the Coachella Valley. So the upper aquifer would be out here towards the airport and the Cabazon Whitewater area where the fields are that they fill and it just percolates down. The other ones are down near Avenue 60, down in the south of PGA West area.
Down by Lake Coolidge.
Yeah, and that's where they flood there. And then the aquifer that's underneath us is one of the largest ones in the world, probably second in the United States, I think. And we have our water table. We hit water in our wells right around 350 feet below, and our well goes down 1,600 feet.
Wow.
And there's water all the way to the bottom. Now, our pumps and stuff sit in around the 400 range or 450, but we're just literally pumping out of this bathtub of water. So it's up.
And it all winds up going back there.
It'll end up getting back there, and then water that comes through the Colorado River brings here, and we try to keep the bathtub, so to speak, full. Right? Certain years, certain times, it's going to deplete. Whatever. This year we've had a very dry southwest winter, not a lot of snow in the Colorado area, so water's not really going to be coming to us as much. But there's also water that comes from Northern California, which comes down through the
less of the
Los Angeles
forest that goes.
And unfortunately, that water comes down, and they never committed and built the canal from up near like the passes in the mountains off the 5, Cajon and all that, out to the desert. So what ended up happening is Metropolitan Water District and Coachella Water District agreed that the water that Metropolitan should get from the Colorado River, they would give to the Coachella Valley, because we can't get water coming from the State Water Project up north, and they would take ours. So they traded. So whenever you pass over the waterfall or the windmills over there on the freeway, you see water running at Whitewater. That is water coming from the Parker Dam across the mountains over here to the north of us. And in exchange of water from there, it dumps into the aquifer at Palm Springs, where all the windmills are. And that's essentially kind of in a nutshell how it is. So there's 7 states that all are trying to vie for water from the Colorado River, and they're currently trying to figure out the Colorado River Compact of 1927. So we're basically going on 100 years, and
it all drains to the Salton Sea at some point.
It all actually goes to everything here goes to the Salton Sea, and then originally, or actually, the rest of the water from the Colorado ultimately gets down into the watershed of Mexico, and they get some of the water, and then it just runs out. And then every year it just cycles through.
And you talk to people from the east, they think we live in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
In the Sahara.
Yeah.
Oh, you're in the desert? And then they come out here, they're like, mountains. Well, that's why that's because those little rainstorms from LA can't get over. Right?
Oh no, those mountains push it away.
Do they allow you to just out, or are there restrictions?
No, there's certain guidelines and restrictions. They want to try to keep the water table as level as can be for future generations and everything like that. So everybody's trying to do their best and not overwater. And there's certain different levels and prices and stuff that you're supposed to attain. And then for the homeowners, they've got everything set up where it's tiered. So if you go over X amount, you're 5X, 10X, 20X. Golf courses and farming and stuff, we have certain allotments that we're allowed to use, but we're trying to stick within those and not go above them. Now, not to say that everybody kind of holds true to it, but we've done a pretty good job here in the Coachella Valley. And when it comes time to scrutinizing irrigation and water, we're always one of the biggest targets, because everybody sees water flying everywhere.
I know.
Right? And they think it's...
But there was a time when they blamed you guys for the humidity.
Correct, yeah.
But I drove me right out of my mind. Yeah. Maybe it affects the humidity if you're standing next to the sprinkler.
But if you look at the 200 plus properties here in the desert that all have some sort of agronomist or superintendent with a degree of knowledge back there, 90% of the places have automated computers and sprinklers and weather stations, and not to mention multitude of irrigators on staff. So if something breaks and we get a call from one of you guys, like that happens all the time, within 20 minutes, 10 minutes, it's been fixed. If you go to a city park or you down the street or your neighbor and the sprinkler breaks off and they're back in DC for those 3 months, that thing's geysering forever. So when you look at that and then you take 200 golf courses with all the acreage, and we're managing this, but then you take all the thousands and hundreds of thousands of people, and the lack of computers and the lack of irrigators and the lack of, I think it balances out to where we're, I think we're in a good spot. So we just need to continue to do our, positive tidbits on news, on radio, and, TV, whatever.
So, where do you get your water? I know we're swimming in water.
Yeah. We have a really big, deep aquifer underneath us.
Aquifer of all time.
Yeah.
And that's why we have these beautiful golf courses.
It's exactly why. If we didn't, then it wouldn't be. And back in the day, I think when they first started, they would pump water and everything was sort of just water. Well, when everything got to be super compacted and all these courses, then they started looking at it and said, the aquifer was here, now it's here, now it's here. We need to get it back up to here, and this is how we're going to do it. So there's different regulations and stuff.
Science. Oh, you want to be you want to be in the golf business? Okay, you better take your science class or science,
communication, mathematics. I mean, it's a whole lot of stuff that goes into running a place like this, just from an agronomy standpoint.
So you mentioned you talked about your parents briefly.
Yeah.
About their concern.
Am I making the right decision?
I'm sure you did all right.
I did okay. Yeah, I think I'm fine.
We cheers, and that's for all of us. We all understand that situation. As you become a man or a full-grown woman. And capable of making your own decisions, but you want to make sure. What kind of relationship did you have with your parents in that regard?
I was the oldest of four. Dad was a construction worker in the Detroit area, hard worker, and he led by example, and Mom was there, and for the most part, she was a homemaker. But then at some point in time, she went to go work and did a little part-time banking at Comerica Bank and stuff. But that was how we grew up. We grew up in the suburbs of Detroit, and everybody worked hard, and everybody did their chores and did their stuff, and we just had a blast. But I had the two greatest parents, role models, and everything. And they're
still a Pistons fan?
Oh yeah, that's a little tough. And the fact that Cleveland and everything, but we've had some threads with the family going back and forth on this and that, and there needs to be a few changes, but Cade Cunningham needs a few guys to help him. And
what a player
he's special.
I'll say something, Detroit,
but
okay, changed the world.
Yeah, it's a great place to grow up around. And
let me just say, Henry Ford.
Yeah.
Can I say the word Henry Ford?
Yeah.
One of my sponsors owns golf. I mean, a car concerning it.
Okay.
Dan Jessup.
Oh, yeah.
And they're promoting this week. It's their 88th.
I heard
88th Memorial Day sale. So I text,
what? Really?
88. So I text him, I go, what was on the lot 88 years ago? And one was a Cadillac.
Sure.
He had a Ford. I mean,
Oh yeah.
what a legacy, I mean, that's what always interests me. And I'm a little grit. Okay. But when I go into a room, I look around the room. Somebody had to put this microphone together. It's 3D. Somebody came up with this
contraption.
Yeah. Somebody found this wood and polished it and built the table. Somebody put that rubber plant in that big vase. Everything. This is what America is. You know what I mean? Everything is made and sold by somebody. And if you can just find the right deal, like when we were talking to Dave Stockton. Now they got a golf ball with a computer chip in it to help you hunting.
Yeah.
Lessons.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
Ronnie was out here just the other day.
you know what I liked? I liked that grip that they put on the heavy club.
Yeah.
Oh,
The little grip to lock you up and
That
trainer.
shows you how you're supposed to
Yeah.
hold the damn
Yeah.
club. I remember the first time I held one, I'm like,
That's
oh, this
what's-
one's supposed
Yeah,
to be.
that's
I
it.
feel right.
That didn't feel like, because when you start, you got the baseball grip, your little kids.
Yeah.
Such a great game. It's Throw in the Act podcast from beautiful Mission Hills Country Club. This is our view
Yeah.
right
It's
here.
pretty
Very
special place.
One of the great, most knowledgeable about grass. Now that means something different today than back in the 70s.
True. Very true.
This is real California.
This is the
More than
golf.
guy
This
on
is
the
the
radio.
golf. This is the golf. This is the golf grass. Yeah.
So it's a pleasure always talking to you. I'm so grateful to have you.
How do you get that? We're getting into the summer now with the heat, all of that kind of stuff. What is the hardest time of year? Is it during the summer, or is it starting to get everything organized for the overseed?
There are certain times in the year out here where it can be downright frustrating and crazy. And I think there's probably two or three. If you're hosting like a big event in the winter time or coming out, like say the guys that have the Amex, right? So early January, mid-January, you're stressing that. You're also like at the overseed time, that's the biggest time where you got to pay attention to everything.
Let's just call it what it is. Your whole life
Yeah.
and job
It is dependent upon,
is dependent.
having a good overseed. If you have a good overseed, it's great. If you don't, then it's
Then you
tough.
start looking for excuses. What a it got a little too cold the other night.
And then I think the third time is probably like this time of year where you have the transition from the winter grass to the summer grass, and you're going to have all kinds of issues, and you're going to have death spots here and trouble spots there. and
Okay,
just
so when you say
managing.
transition,
Yeah,
the
our base is
the winter ride that is put there
starts to just die off.
it just dies
It
off.
just slowly goes away, right?
And then Bermuda, which has been
dormant, is greening up and coming back up, right? So the perfect thing would be like have it just blend in
at the same time
harmoniously at the same time, no problems.
Another talk.
That doesn't ever happen. Never happens.
We're talking with all of the colleges and everything, doing all of their research and development.
Yeah.
Got some choice that they've been testing.
They're trying some stuff.
What do you think?
It's it's interesting. We'll see. They're doing some samples down at Sin City Palm Desert, and they're getting some pretty good feedback on not having to.
I played out a lot in
Yeah. Well, Zoysia's primarily over there. Yeah, all that little belt
It's like
there.
walking on a blanket.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
it goes up all the time.
the key would be is if you can find a turf that can handle the traffic, look as good as we're expected to out here, have the greens be as good as they can be. If you can get to that point where you don't have to spend all this time, money, and effort in preparing the overseeding and putting the cool season on the warm season that's dormant, then you don't have any of these transition issues because you never have to do all this stuff. But that's
Doing the Zoysia, then would that basically be a fairway?
Zoysia would be on the fairway. They would have like Mini Verde or some sort of TIF 3D or some of the newer varieties in the greens that you don't overseed. And you may have some Zoysia on your tees that you don't overseed.
Zoysia was great on the team.
And then the key would be is like, do you have to overseed some of the rough or do you leave it be? It's going to end up being that way probably 5, 10, 15 years down the road, 20 years. People are already starting to use non-overseeded greens here in the desert. They're using Mini Verde, Successful, and in Arizona, Scottsdale, like nobody overseeds the greens over there. They all
Tell us about the punch.
so certain times of the year and certain varieties of grass accumulate thatch and a bunch of buildup. So in order to keep everything healthy, you need to remove some of that organic material from time to time. And typically, when you're not as busy or in peak season, so we'll do that 2 or 3 times, sometimes 4 times. coming up here in the summer, leading up to the.
So when we see the hole,
Yeah.
and it's gotten a lot smaller.
Yep.
Over the years, they have like micro.
There's all different kinds. We have pencil tines, we have quad tines, we have these.
Are they taking something out?
Either they can either take it out or push it down and then add sand in there. It just depends on. Usually, most courses will do annual soil samples, especially on your greens. And if you don't do it every year, then every other year or something. But you want to see what your profile looks like, and if it's X amount of organic matter, then the goal is, or the thought is you should take some of that out, right? Too much organic stuff is going to get spongy, puffy, and when that happens, diseases, mowers, you cannot. I mean, you cannot. They need to be firm, fast, and that's why you put the sand in there. So the sand creates that nice medium in there for air, oxygen, nutrients, roots, all that stuff, right? But you want them firm enough to where you can hold a golf shot. So nice, regulated, top dress greens every year. That's how you get to that point.
When else are you going to get this information?
Yeah.
You're all out there at your muni and you're wondering why there are holes in this green.
Yeah, and in the Midwest where I grew up, you aerified in the spring before you opened up, and then you aerified in the fall before you went to sleep for the winter. And over here, it's kind of the same thing. We do it in the springtime here to get the Bermuda coming back. We are basically harvesting Bermuda all summer in preparation for our October overseed. So we're essentially just getting things up to be healthy so we can overseed into, not to hold championship tournaments or events. We just want everything to be good so that in the fall, for the next 6-8 months afterwards, we have perfect conditions. So
coming from the East Coast where the holes were this big. Yeah. Like pretty good on punch greens,
and that's the thing. Yeah, people hear punch greens and everybody thinks what you thought back in the day where you have big holes and everything.
Yeah, they're very tight.
Now, what we try to do is we try to use like quarter-inch tines, and basically that allows us to go in and do minimal disruption, but allow us to take some of the organic matter out, put some sand in, and 2 days later, you hardly even know we did anything. Then we'll go up to the next size, maybe with a 3/8, maybe a ½ inch, and we'll do it. And then we won't use the bigger stuff until the middle of the summer when it's going to heal back really fast.
Jonas, I love talking.
The nice thing about this place is we have 3 courses, so you can always move around. You don't have a problem. When you're back at an 18-hole place, you punch it 2 weeks later, the course is open, but it's not going to be very good for another 2 more weeks, right? Because it takes time to heal in. Here, we're fortunate in where we're at and everything to have multiple courses and weather like that. And it's a lot easier to plan your plan and work it than it is if you're back and you have it scheduled to aerify someday and all of a sudden you get a thunderstorm.
Change your plan,
right? And if you can't do it because you have to stick to the schedule, excuse me, then you're just hoping that you can get through it and it all turns out good.
Well, look, you've been around. You're the best. What you've done here is amazing, and you're so appreciated on this property.
I appreciate it.
I know that you're a good guy.
Well, I appreciate it. I try to get out and talk to everybody and explain what's going on and let people know. And like you say, they learn things, and just because we're airifying doesn't mean we're using the big time. Just because we're doing this. So I think that's another thing that's just important is communicating with your members, with your staff, co-workers, whoever it is, because
there's got to be a mutual trust.
Yeah, guys come in here and they talk to Marcus in the locker room, right? Well, if I don't ever talk to Marcus about what's going on, then he's not going to know. But if I tell Marcus, hey, we're doing this or that, or I tell Dave this or you share it with your buddies. You share it.
I mean, Joe's the most important guy.
Yeah. Valet Joe out there.
You got to tell Valet Joe.
Right?
So everybody wants to know, okay?
Yeah. So.
That micro dot on the palm green.
Exactly.
Give the heads up.
Exactly.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Jonas,
Thank you.
a pleasure.
Appreciate
you having
me.
Thank you very much.
Coach? Yes, sir.
Here's another one, buddy.
Nice job.
Mitchell.
You got your. Let's just mention that as you can tell by looking at Golf Professional Dave.
Yeah.
Shrixon plays a role in his life.
Shrixon. I love me some Shrixon. That's good.
Yeah, and that's a great golf ball.
Yeah.
And now really great clubs.
Fantastic club. It's unbelievable the amount of pros that they're bringing on staff on tour.
I saw that.
And I'm really excited about it. We got a book June 2nd. The senior production manager is going to be on with us talking about all kinds of new stuff.
Nice.
Shrixon, senior production manager.
Nice.
Shrixon and Clear.
Ooh.
Roger Cleep invented.
I still got my witness from the 90s. That tour action.
Well, hey, if you guys want, just let them know that, you know, their director of agronomy here has played Cleveland irons, wedges for my wedges for my entire life. And I just recently got some Cleveland irons that I've got in the bag. So I've switched. If they need a little, you know, something.
I think we're doing a little.
Yeah.
What kind of number are you carrying? You carry a number at your solo?
My index you're talking?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably.
Don't tell me it's about. Okay.
Well, I think it's 7.1 right now. So,
nice.
but I don't post as often as I should. But I get out there and play. And again, I enjoy the game of golf. Love the game of golf. And working and maintaining the golf course versus playing the golf course, it's two different things.
Yeah, but it gives you
two different perspectives, right?
When you're playing, I'm sure you
see things. Yeah, we make notes. Yeah, we go around and we make notes all the time. And that's how we get better. That's how you learn.
When you a pin place,
yeah,
you bring your putter and a couple balls with you.
We do, and we try to tell our staff that's going out to do that, to do all those things. Roll a few balls, put the cup down there, go over here, go over here. You know, because some of them don't play golf, and to get them to understand what they're doing, it helps to have a putter or ball. So from time to time, you'll see our guys out there trying to do stuff, but it's all in just learning the profession and doing the best job you can for placing that cup, because that's super important.
Absolutely. Again, thank you so much, Bill. Really
thank you guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yep. Thank you so much. Thank you guys.
Coach, appreciate you too. Make sure everybody out there listen to 102.3 FM.
102.3. Yeah, it's the Deserts Class here.
Coach on his morning show, Monday through Friday. Give us a like. Be sure to subscribe to us. We'll see you next time. Thanks again, everyone.
All right. Thank you.